Hey everybody, welcome to a year wrap-up of comic books with the Whiskey Geeks. My name is Tim.
And I'm Alex. And we're two brothers on a quest to bring you the perfect pairing of whiskey and comics, and you're right, it is all about comics today.
Woo! Yeah, we thought we would, do a year wrap-up of what were the best books that we read this year. We've already done our favorite whiskeys of the year. You can go and check that out on our channel or our podcast stream. If you want,
whatever
our feed,
it is that you're in,
if you
wherever
will.
you're enjoying our stuff.
Yeah, if you just happened upon us as you're looking for the best wrap-ups of the year, welcome. It's always great to have new people on board. Go check out our other stuff. It's all fantastic.
Oh, yeah. It's 5 stars across the board.
If I will say so myself. So, Alex, today what we're going to do is we are counting down our favorite books of the year. So we wanted to limit it ourselves because, we could probably be here for 17 hours.
Of course.
Talking about all of the things that we read. But we wanted to, make it so that it wasn't too crazy of an episode for all of y'all. So we are going to do our top 5 books that we read this year, right? That are like ongoing, continuing new series or that wrapped this year.
Yep.
And then our top 5 things that we should have read before, but we just got around to reading now.
Yes.
Kind of thing.
Yeah.
So older comics that we read for the first time this year.
Yeah.
But I see you've got a whiskey in your glass. What are you drinking?
I do.
Let's start.
So I'm actually drinking our club bottle. So this is the Boulder peated cast strength bottle that we did for our club. It was a single cask that the Yeg Whiskey Nights out in Alberta. They also were part of this. So that's what I'm drinking. You have something there, I assume.
I'm drinking what I awarded whiskey of the year. So I'm not going to tell folks. So they got to go watch that video. But that's what I'm drinking.
Look at the color on that dram you have.
I'm drinking. I figured this is a year-end show. Why not sell? It's a celebration. It's
absolutely.
We're saying goodbye to a year, and we're looking forward to better and brighter things and more comic books. So let's just dive in. Let's give the people what they want. Did you number yours 1 to 5 with favorites? Did you rank them?
It's a loose ranking. Okay. So not really.
Gotcha.
But let me start it off. I want to kick it off by going to the big comic book house, and I'm going with a Marvel. I'm going with a crossover event, and I'm going with, up above me for those on YouTube, I'm going with the King in Black Venom crossover event, which was a fantastic, I'm just going to bring it down here because it was a fantastic story written by Donny Cates with Ibn Coelho, Juan Gideon, Luke Ross, Ryan Stegman. And it has been several years in the making leading up to this, and it had been hinted at. And anyways, it was a fantastic story. There was a whole, pretty much every hero in the Marvel universe tied in at some point to this story. And then the King in Black came to Earth, and it was wild. And I really, really liked it. So that's, I'll say that one first.
Right on. I have not read that yet.
It's really good.
Cool. I'm looking forward to it based off of your review. Number 5, or the first one I'll mention for me, is from the Big Two. And it's actually just a little mini series that I haven't finished because there were shipping delays from DC. So Heroes didn't get the 3rd book, but I am chomping at the bit, and it is above my left shoulder, or right if you're looking at the screen. Batman the Imposter on DC's Black Label.
Nice.
Written by Mattson Tomlin and art by Andrea Sorrentino, who, my goodness, do I love his artwork so much. Yeah. His name will come up later from another book, but it is a really noir, dark feeling Batman book that is like right at the start of his Batman career. I don't really want to get into too much plot point on it because that's kind of all you need to know. Yeah. It's early Batman in his career, and it is done in a very, very noir type storytelling. Phenomenal. It's great. Andrea Sorrentino can do no wrong in my books. Another one that I'll just mention that he's currently drawing with Jeff Lemire writing is called Primordial, which is a science fiction story about what happened to the dog and the monkeys that we sent up into space before humans.
Oh, you were telling me about this.
It's cool as
Yes.
shit. It's fun. Didn't quite make my list, but again, Sorrentino art, Jeff Lemire writing, a, a team you'll hear about later.
Nice. So the next one for me is The Last Ronin, the Ninja Turtles story, which is still going on. So it's just awesome. So this is set in the future. This is an IDW. And it's Eastman and Laird getting back together, getting the band back together. So this was apparently an idea that they had all the way back in 1989 of something they wanted to write, but didn't feel that time was right to do it. So this is the last surviving member of the 4 turtles in the future going up against the Shredder's grandson, who has sort of taken over New York City. So artwork's fantastic, story is fantastic. It's got some flashbacks. So you do get to see all the turtles working together. And anyways, it's lots of fun. And growing up being a huge Ninja Turtles fan, this was a really, really fun to read.
Just a couple of days ago was the 34th anniversary of the animated show,
which is
for the first time.
Wild.
Batshit crazy. Would you believe I haven't read Last Ronin yet?
No.
I know.
I mean, you hear me talk about it all the time.
I know. I'm embarrassed.
But you know what? The trade will be coming. I mean, each one's sort of like a mini trade. They're oversized, but still, it's so good. You'll love it.
I'm very excited.
Yeah.
Very excited. Number 4 for me is one that I just picked up, and it is an ongoing book. I'm not completely caught up right now, but it is Monstress from Marjorie Liu and Sana Takeda. Holy. I picked up the gorgeous hardcover volume 1 at Heroes. They had they're running a sale, and it was on for I want to say pennies, but it was probably like $24 for the massive gorgeous hardcover. And I was I've heard people talk about this book. I'm going to take a chance on it. It's incredible. I mean, it's high fantasy. It's got anime influence in it as well, mixed with some D&D type stuff and talking animal. It's
so
such
good.
an epic, amazing book. Cannot recommend it enough. If you in any way like fantasy stories or high fantasy stuff, if you're thinking Lord of the Rings, or if you're into Arcane, that show on Netflix that anime show that everyone's freaking out about, or if you really liked Star Wars Visions, which was a lot of anime stuff, go buy this book. Monstress is awesome.
Oh, the title character, Micah. Yeah. She's amazing. Oh it's gosh, really cool. It's so great. Yeah. Next up for me is so I've now just have sort of 3 that bubbled up to the top. So I'm not going to go in any specific order. So I'm going to go with Berserker.
Nice.
From Boom Studios. This is Keanu Reeves, Matt Kint, Ron Garney. And
friend of the pod, Ron Garney.
Friend of the pod, Ron Garney. Go check out that interview that we did. Yeah, Ron was graced us with his presence
over an hour. It was great.
Yeah. So this book it's so good. So it follows the life of the immortal bee who cannot be killed, is working for the U.S. government in some spec ops capacity, while at the same time trying to find a way to, I think, make it so that he can die, or at least figure out why he's immortal. And it's great. So it's got flashbacks to when he was younger, present day stuff. Anyways, if you want to hear us talk at length about that, go and listen to us talk with the artist of the book.
Who I continue to chat with. He just constantly we just now kind of chit chat through Instagram, and he's the best.
He's so good.
Ron, you're the coolest. Keep doing you, buddy. Next book for me was a real surprise. I bought this one on a lark, and it kicks a lot of ass. It's called Barbaric, very similar to Berserker, but it is from Vault Comics, written by Michael Morisi and art by Nathan Gooden. It is about a barbarian named Owen who is cursed by 3 witches to only do good, and he has a talking axe, which is his moral compass. It is very D&D. It's very adult. It's very violent, but it is just totally a hilarious romp. Um, it's like getting a lot of really good buzz on people's year-end lists. So it's only 3 issues. More is coming. But phenomenal
Yeah.
book. It was such a surprise to me. Um, and yeah, it was great, and I can't wait for more.
Nice. Yeah, and I haven't read that one.
Oh,
So you keep talking about that, and I haven't read it. So
I'll send them to you. It's
yeah.
really great.
All right. So I guess the runner up, if we're
Mm.
going in some type of order, is the Nice House on the Lake. So this is James
Very good.
Tinian, and the art is Alvaro Martinez Bueno. This is also on DC's Black Label. Because this is not for children. This is post-apocalyptic, end of the world. It's fantastic. It sort of reminds me a bit of Lost, where
Yeah.
each issue I leave with more questions than I had at the start when I started reading. I was like, why is there a polar bear?
Mm.
But anyways, it's fantastic. It's the first book that I read when my pull comes in. The story's just got me so hooked, and yeah,
Yeah.
it leaves me wanting more all the time. So I'm loving it.
So it was going to be on my list. The problem was I got the first 2, and then with
Oh right,
COVID and everything, I didn't get down to the comic
yep.
shop, and they are sold out of issues 3 and 4,
Mm.
and they have
I'll
not
say,
restocked them yet. So I'm just like, well, okay, I read the first 2. I'm dying to find out, and I'm like avoiding all spoilers
yeah.
because the first 2 were so good. So I'm like, I guess I'm trade waiting. But yeah, phenomenal.
Mhm.
Number 2 for me, um, Once and Future.
Oh, so
Uh,
good.
Kieran Gillen, art by Dan Mora, who, oh my gosh, the
Yeah,
book is
it's
so
beautiful.
gorgeous, like beautiful.
Yeah.
Um, but the tale that Kieran Gillen is spinning on this thing is
Uh-huh.
bonkers. It's all about the UK and English history. It's, there's the Green Knight, and it's Beowulf, and it's King Arthur, and it's just all these old
Yeah.
tales are real, and they're coming back into the new world. And that's all I'm gonna say about the story. But phenomenal. Every month is crazy. The art's fantastic. I can't get enough.
Yeah.
um I want it to go forever.
Yeah. So I've read the first 2 trades,
Right.
and oh yeah, it's so great.
It's so good. It's so good.
Yeah. So I didn't include that one just because I'm behind, and technically I didn't feel like I was reading this year's version,
That's
but
fair. That's fair.
love it. Number one for me is something that wrapped this year and makes me very sad, but it's Die.
Same for me. So let's
Oh,
just talk about it.
let's talk about Die. So again, we've both got this up, but another Image book, another book by Kieran Gillen. This was just a fantastic story. So we
Yeah.
wait, did we go on and on about this one? We haven't
I don't
gone
think
on
we
and on
have
about this
yet.
one. No, we kept saying we were
Just in
going
private.
to. Yeah. So for anyone who doesn't know what we're talking about, so this is a role-playing game inside a role-playing game.
Yeah.
So it's like if your Dungeons and Dragons game became real, and then so you
Yes.
went to D&D, created your character, you got pulled inside of the game, and then you're physically playing out that character while also still being yourself. So you've got your own moral
Yeah.
code.
It's
It's
Jumanji. Like, think of it as Jumanji meets D&D is a really simplistic way of putting it. It's not as funny as Jumanji. It's a lot deeper. But that's kind of
yeah,
like the easy way to kind of tell people, is like kids who played D&D had a Jumanji type incident where they get sucked into their role playing game.
yeah,
But if we want to talk about gorgeous books and fantastic artists, Stephanie Hans,
is
if you ever hear this, thank you for the work that you did on this book, because it is some of the best artwork I think I've ever seen in comics.
yeah, hands down.
It's so gorgeous, and it's
Yeah,
all
I think
painted.
we've
Like,
we've
she
each
paints
reached
it.
out and like, is any of your artwork available? and it's
it's
just
so
not.
good.
But
It's
it's
so good.
yeah, it's
And
so
and
yeah. So
Kieran
they
Gillen has written one hell of a story.
yeah. So yeah, they get
Yeah.
pulled in as kids, they disappear, then they reappear, but one of them's not back, and then fast forward 20 years, and they've got to go back again.
And the
And
craziest
it's
thing about Die for me is that it's not Dungeons and Dragons that they're playing.
no,
It's another role playing game which Kieran Gillen developed. And
yes,
so he created a role playing game specifically for this comic book, which is now an actual playable role playing game that you can
yeah,
still go get for free.
yeah, which is
So
again,
you
that's
can
also
go
amazing.
to the Die Comic website and you can actually just download the player's handbook, the game master's handbook. You can download the entire PDF for free
Yeah,
and run this game, which we are both desperately
oh,
wanting to do. However,
yeah,
we're both parents of young children with jobs.
all
Um,
that free time that we have.
so all that free time. But eventually we are going to play this game.
Yeah,
You can actually, there's YouTube videos of Kieran Gillen playing
yeah,
the role playing game with some other comic creators,
yeah, which is really cool.
which is a ton of fun. But yeah, what a fantastic book. I'm so sad it's done.
I
Um,
know
I almost cried a number of times reading this book. It's just
it. It really had some points that really hit you.
yeah, it's really
Oh,
good.
yeah,
The Kieran Gillen writes emotion like very few people out there.
yeah,
So yes, congratulations, Kieran Gillen and Stephanie
yeah.
Hans. You are the
Comic of the
inaugural
year.
Whiskey Geeks Comic of the Year winner. You get a hearty handshake. Do I ever meet you in person?
A drink from us if we free
For
booze on
real.
us if we ever
There
meet.
you go. If we ever meet up, with cons ever come back and you're ever out
Yeah, and that's a thing. Yeah.
one. Let's do real quick. Let's hit the 5 comics I should have read before but didn't until this year,
Yeah.
because there's probably going to be some fun stuff on that. I'll go first for this one.
Yeah.
Number 5 for me, this is just a real fun little thing. It's called Night Stalkers.
Okay.
If you listen to our interview with Ron Garney, we talk about it there. So this is a series from back in the 90s, where the 3 characters in the book are Blade, Hannibal King, and Frank Drake. And it's basically, they're just monster hunting. So they're just anything demonic or necromantic or vampires
Nice.
or werewolves. They just go and hunt them. Ron Garney's artwork in this book is bananas good. Like, it is holy crap. And it's like the total 90s over the top stuff, but it is
Yeah.
super fun. I found the first 16 issues in a like a collected bag at Heroes for $10.
Amazing.
And it's an incredible read. Super fun. So yeah,
Nice.
that's my number 5. It was just a fun little thing that I found.
Number 5 for me is The Last Man by Brian K. Vaughan.
Yeah, why the Last Man?
Why the Last Man? Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it's on my list.
I don't know I don't know why I picked up like the first trade. I think I was at the local used bookstore. It's called Black Squirrel, which is up here in Ottawa, which my wife and I really like to go to. And they had the first one there. So I grabbed it and devoured it.
Yeah.
And then
did you watch the TV show?
I didn't.
Right.
No. So this is, I'm just coming from it from, yeah. But I mean, I'm a huge Brian K. Vaughan fan. Saga is an all-timer for me. And then luckily someone was selling all 5 of the hardcover trade paperbacks.
Oh, nice.
Or, well, not paperbacks, I guess, if they're hardcover. But anyways, so I went and scooped them up, and I'm working my way through those, and it's fantastic. The artwork's great. I should probably say Pia Guerrera and Jose Marzan Jr. So this is from Vertigo, and yeah,
Nice.
it's a great story. Anyways, if you don't know, something happens and everything on the planet with a Y chromosome dies except for this guy and his pet monkey.
Yep. Just leave it at that. That's an amazing synopsis. This guy and his pet monkey.
So yeah.
Rad. That's rad. Yeah, that's on my list of things to kind of pick up.
It's great. I'll send this down your way.
Okay. Next on my list, the Silver Coin. I'm kind of cheating because they're bringing this back. But this is like it's like a horror anthology book. So it's 5 issues. This first one was 5 issues. So all of the art was by Michael Walsh, but then they got different writers for each of the stories.
Cool.
So the first story was Chip Zdarsky. The second one was Kelly Thompson. The third one was Ed Bryson. And then Jeff Lemire did the fourth one. And then Michael Walsh wrote the 5th one. So it's the story of a silver coin who makes its way through history and is basically very evil.
You said who made his way as opposed to that, which gives me a hint of the nature of said silver coin.
Or I'm just a dummy who can't speak properly. But yeah, it's phenomenal. The trade that I grabbed, it's really, really great. It's just, again, not for kids. Very violent. But a really, really fun little horror anthology book that I picked up, and it's coming back. I think the first issue either just came out or is coming out in 2022. So I'm very excited to jump back in because it was a fun read.
Awesome. Something that is on both of our shelves, Alan Moore's Swamp Thing.
That was my next one, so we can just talk about that together.
Yeah. So if you want to hear us go deep on Alan Moore's Swamp Thing, it is part of our season 2 essentials reading. This is absolutely fantastic. Neither of us had ever read it until this year. And boy, is it ever good.
It's so good. It's one of the best monster stories ever, in my opinion, but it goes beyond your traditional universal monster.
Yeah.
Oogie boogie, I just scare you, I'm big and scary. It's so deep, and it goes into like, what does it mean to be human? What does it mean to be alive? Who even am I? What's my purpose? Like, it's layered.
Who is the monster? Is it the one that was drawn up to be the monster? Is it actually the humans? Is it neither? Anyways, yeah, so good. So yeah, if you want to hear us go on and on about this one, go and check out the video on our feed.
Go buy it first and read it.
And read it for
and then go and check out our thing. Yeah, that was the next on my list as well. So
So I knew you were going to have that on there because I could see it over your shoulder. So I thought I would hit that one. And now I'm going to jump in with another Kieran Gillen book, The Wicked and the Divine.
That's next on my list.
Hey. And so the art by Jamie McKelvey.
Yeah.
Is that right? Yeah. This book is absolutely fantastic.
It's so good.
Again, artwork is incredible, but the story that Kieran Gillen spins in this one, so there's a group of immortals that every 90 years, I believe
so. Yeah.
90 years come back and then live for 2 years having all the godly powers and then die. So in this iteration, they are all like pop stars. They're all like they're all like music acts. So you can go and see their performances and commune with the divine. But then there's also evil ones. And anyways, it's so good.
Yeah,
there's
like
layers
Baphomet
to it.
is one of them.
Yeah. Baal.
The
Morrigan.
Phenomenal.
So good. So yeah,
I need to thank the fine folks, friends of the pods, Talking Comics.
Yeah.
Who, if you're also looking for other top lists, they do an annual award show, which they're in the process of right now. They just did their nominations. This is how I found out about Wicked and the Vine a couple years ago, was when Joey Percino and Steve were just like, everyone needs to read this book. This is so good. This is book of the year. They went on and on about it. So eventually I was like, okay, I'll pick that up. I remember them talking about that a couple years ago. I just had it on my list, and like, I reached out to Steve. It was just like, oh my God, thank you so much for mentioning that like 2 years ago, because I finally read it and it's incredible.
Yeah. So I'm not finished it. I'm at the end of the second big hardcover. Like I got the special edition one, so I've got now have to source the third one. But anyways, so good. So I just stole two of yours that we talked about. So I guess it's still my turn to go.
Sure.
And I'm
We
going to go
will
with
not have we won't have the same one here.
no. I'm going with Invincible. So
That was that was almost on my list.
Almost okay, yeah. So I went out, I got the huge omnibus of this, and I'm slowly working my way through. Of course, with the Netflix series coming out, it brought the popularity of this back
Amazon,
up.
thank
Oh,
you.
sorry, thank you very
Ugh.
much, Amazon. Oh, as I, who can even keep
Dare
track?
How dare you besmirch the wonderful name of Jeffrey Bezos like that? How
Our
dare
feed's
you?
gonna just get erased from the internet now, isn't it?
Who cares?
So it's fantastic. So so this is Robert Kirkman and with Corey Walker and Ryan Otterly. I know you're a big Ryan Otterly fan on the art side of things.
Yeah, Ryan Ottley's incredible. He made
Yeah.
Grizzly. He made Grizzly Shark.
Yeah, he did. So this, I mean, again, it's an incredible book. I'm sure a lot of people who are listening to this know about it. And yeah, I just got around to reading it this year. And
That's
again,
fine.
who knows what took so long, but it's great.
Yeah.
So
number one on my list, I alluded to the team of Jeff Lemire and Andrea Sorrentino earlier.
I know what you're saying.
I finally got around to reading Gideon Falls. And Gideon, holy shit. What a book. It's a lot of the stuff that I read this year was horror, I'm realizing. It was horror and very dark, which it wasn't a lot of like upbeat superhero wham boom. Oh, shucks, we'll get him next time. It's a lot of like demons and like straight evil. Gideon Falls is an incredible story. Jeff Lemire wrote one hell of a book. And this, I think it won the Eisner Award for graphic novel of the year. Yeah, when it came out. But yeah, it's story of a there's two concurrent stories happening, one in like modern day New York and then one in this like old down southy town called Gideon Falls. And like a priest shows up and there's murders that happen and it's all about this search for this black barn, which is like the source of all evil.
I just read issue 1.
What do you think?
It's amazing.
Cool, right?
It's really cool. So Santa Claus brought it.
Nice.
He brought the dollar comic reprint of issue 1.
Perfect.
So yeah, it's got me hooked. I mean, after hearing you go on and on about this for the past little while, when it showed up, I thought, oh yes, I should read this. So yeah. I'm very intrigued.
It gets wacky.
Yeah.
I'll say that.
Yep.
Because I remember when I first started reading it, I reached out again to Steve, our kind of resident expert, and was just like, I'm finally reading Gideon Falls. And he's like, yeah, it gets kind of weird. And I was like, oh, okay. It's just kind of like a cool little evil thing. And then like the next trade that I read, I texted him again. And I was like, it got kind of wacky. And he's like,
it did get kind of weird.
It gets kind of weird, but like not horror and not bad weird. It just, it takes some turns that you're kind of like, I did not see that shit coming.
Yeah.
But yeah, super great. Loved it.
Nice.
I'm going to do a reread. Probably. Yeah. Probably.
Nice. Well, I look forward to that graphic novel coming up then. So I can read the first one after.
Oh, I've got all the trades. Well, hey,
all
folks.
Right. No.
That is our...
No.
It's not?
No, I still have one left.
Sorry, I went first. My bad.
Yeah. So my number one that I finally got around to, I'm going all the way back to 1989 for The Sandman.
Oh,
I had never read Sandman before by Neil Gaiman.
I haven't either.
Dude, it's awesome. And boy, does it hold up. And it doesn't seem dated. And I really like, I want to go out and buy the $190 just like Bible thick version of the whole thing.
That's how I feel about Swamp Thing. Because they just came out with like the massive awesome hardcover, but it's like $200 and I'm like, oh.
Yeah. So I can't remember who wrote the intro, so I just want to pull this up like really quickly.
Sure.
Because it says something really. So yeah, Patrick Rothfuss. So I don't know if you know him, but he wrote The Name of the Wind, which is one of my all-time favorite like fantasy books.
Okay.
and it's the King Killer Chronicles. There's 2 books out. He went and then had a family. How dare he? And now we're all waiting for, the 3rd book. Anyways, so he wrote the intro to this, and at one point he says, I wouldn't shut up about this book. I'd give it to people and say, you have to read this. It's like Shakespeare. He goes, it's just that back then, Shakespeare was the best thing I'd ever read. The truth is, Shakespeare wishes he wrote something this good.
Oh, my.
So having an amazing author like Patrick Rothfuss sing praise like that. So I read that and was like, oh, cool. Like, don't set my standards too high here before I dive in and read this.
Yeah.
And it's phenomenal. So, okay. I mean, it's about Morpheus, about Dream. The show's coming. It looks really good. I just grabbed Act 1 of the audiobook, listening to it through on Audible. It's also good. It's got some great voice talent doing that. Anyways, it takes place in the DC universe. So at certain points, other characters from the DC universe like make their way through. And it's about Dream and the other Endless. So, there's death, there's despair. Anyways, crazy cool story. And Neil Gaiman is just one of my favorite storytellers. So he did American Gods, which was a show. Anyways, so that's the best thing that I read this year that is old, and I can't believe I hadn't read until now.
Well, that'll be on my list for 2022.
2022.
There we go. You get Gideon Falls, I get Sandman.
There we go.
Look at that. Like we planned it.
Yeah.
That's going to be a wrap, folks, on our year-end wrap-up. Keep coming back to the podcast, the YouTube. There's going to be you're going to start seeing different content on each channel, so make sure you subscribe to both.
Yes, please.
Hit the like button as well. Share it with a friend. Give us a review on Apple Podcasts or, share it on Spotify, all that stuff.
That'd be great.
It'd be really cool. Comment as well. Tell us what you like. What was your favorite book of the year? We'd love to know. You can email us if you want as well. The whiskeygeeks@gmail.com. Where can they find us on Instagram, Alex?
It's the Whiskey Geeks, at the Whiskey Geeks. Whiskey has an E because we drink all kinds of whiskey and we don't want to leave out certain kinds. So we threw an E in there.
Right.
So
that's right. If this is your first time with us and and you're just coming for comics, we review whiskey as well.
Yes.
So there you go.
So that's why it's called the Whiskey Geeks and not
exactly.
But yeah, thank you so much for coming along. Yeah, if you could, like, comment, share, rate, review, all those great things, it would certainly help us out. We would really appreciate it. If you enjoyed it, share with someone else who you think might also enjoy it as much as you did, and that'd be great. So we'll have some instant review reactions of stuff coming out in the new year of shows that are going on. We're going to try and be a bit more on top of new content as it comes out, as opposed to waiting. So there might be a Book of Boba Fett podcast instant reaction coming in the near future, because we both just watched episode 1, and I mean, I'm a huge Star Wars nerd, so I have thoughts.
Yeah. By the time this comes up, it's probably in our podcast feed.
Also there.
There you go. So if you're just watching this on YouTube, go find us in podcast form, and you're going to find our instant reaction to the Book of Boba Fett episode 1. So
nice.
Thanks, folks. It has been a blast doing this in 2021, and we look forward to doing more of it in 2022. So keep reading those comic books, and if you're of age and enjoy whiskey, keep drinking good whiskey.
Absolutely. Because Scotch and stories, they were made for each other.
Cheers, buddy.
Cheers, buddy.